You feel it, don't you? That subtle exhaustion, that ache behind your eyes at the end of the day. It's not the tiredness of hard work, it's the fatigue of having your soul stretched thin across 100 invisible digital demands. You wake up and the noise starts. Notifications, deadlines, inputs, distractions pretending to be opportunities. Everything speeding past you like you're standing still, and yet somehow you're expected to keep up, but with what and for what? You weren't built for this. No one was. You were built to wake up with the sun, not to the glare of a screen. You were built to know the land beneath your feet, not to feel lost in a concrete algorithm. Your ancestors, who you carry in your blood, once knew the sky by heart and spoke to each other with silence and eye contact. They weren't overwhelmed by endless options because they had what mattered: connection, simplicity, meaning, not just existence or being. And yet here you are, trapped in a system that promised convenience but delivered confusion. A system that gave you access to the world but left you starved for presence. They called it progress, you called it coping. AI was supposed to make life easier. That's how they sold it. It would take away the burden, free up your time, let you focus on what really matters. But instead, it made everything faster, so fast you stopped being able to think. It didn't simplify your life, it automated your purpose. And that's the thing no one wants to admit. When machines took over the doing, they also stole the meaning that came from the doing. You used to write, now it writes for you. You used to dream, now it generates your dreams. You used to work with your hands, build things, fix things, grow things. Now you click and scroll and somewhere in that endless scroll, you forgot what it feels like to breathe slowly, to move through a day without urgency, to wake up without anxiety gnawing at your chest. Somewhere in the high-speed blur, you lost the essence of what it meant to be alive. And that's why you'll return. Not out of some forced collapse or apocalyptic retreat, but out of quiet desperation, out of the slow realization that this digital frenzy isn't living, it's surveillance with a user interface. It's emotional isolation hidden behind curated feeds. You'll look around one day and realize you haven't had a real moment in weeks, that every conversation felt like an interruption, that your body aches not because you're working hard, but because you're sitting too long in artificial light, performing life instead of living it. And your soul will start whispering what it's been trying to say for years. Go back. Go back to the earth, to the slowness, to the smallness that once felt like home. You'll trade the dopamine rush of likes for the steady rhythm of planting a seed and watching it grow. You'll stop chasing productivity and start craving presence. The countryside will no longer feel like a retreat, it will feel like remembering. You'll crave still mornings, the sound of real wind through real trees, meals that take hours, conversations that stretch into the night without urgency. You'll walk not because it's good for your steps, but because it feels good to move. You'll finally understand what Rousseau meant when he said we were born free, because you'll feel the chains falling off. AI didn't enslave you. You gave yourself away to it, piece by piece. And what you'll come to understand is that freedom isn't the ability to do everything faster. It's the right to do fewer things more slowly, more deeply, more honestly. It's the courage to say, this isn't who I am. The countryside calls to something ancient in you, a rhythm that's older than every update, every trend, every simulated interaction. There is no app for meaning, no algorithm for all, and when AI perfects everything that can be automated, you'll realize the only things left worth doing are the ones that can't be, like watching a fire burn down, or baking bread with your bare hands, or hearing the rain hit a tin roof and letting it slow your heartbeat. The future won't be a shiny utopia of efficiency. It'll be a quiet migration backward, not out of fear, but out of longing. The kind of longing that doesn't speak in words, but in aches. The kind you feel in your chest when you realize you've been moving for years and you've never truly arrived anywhere. You'll go back because progress without purpose is just noise, You'll go back because your nervous system is tired of living in fight or flight. You'll go back because you'll realize that attention is the most precious thing you have, and you've been giving it away like it meant nothing. But in the countryside, attention means survival. You have to notice the season, the soil, the way your neighbor's eyes look when they're worried. And in that noticing, you'll recover a version of yourself you forgot existed, the version that doesn't need constant stimulation, that doesn't need to prove anything, that isn't optimized, but is whole. Nietzsche once wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." AI has taken away many of the hows, but it never gave you back your why. And that is what will lead you home. Because you are not meant to be a node in a network. You're not meant to be constantly reachable, constantly optimized, constantly watched. You are meant to be a soul in a body, a presence in a place, a being, not just a user. You'll return, not because technology failed, but because it succeeded in everything except making you feel human. And you miss feeling human. That's why you'll choose stillness over speed, bread over bites, eye contact over interface. That's why you'll turn down the volume of the world until you can finally hear your own voice again. It's quiet, and it's saying the same thing it always has. Slow down, come home, you've wandered enough. You'll find that the real revolution was never technological. It was always emotional, psychological, existential. The true rebellion isn't escaping to Mars or merging with machines. It's saying no to the noise. It's refusing to let your value be measured by speed, efficiency, or productivity. It's choosing to live in a way that feels like you, not like what the system wants from you. You'll walk away not in a dramatic act, but in quiet defiance. No announcements, just the slow closing of tabs, the decision to go a whole day without checking a feed, to plant a garden, to read a paper book, to hear your thoughts without interruption. And that will be your resistance, because in a world where everything is trying to steal your attention, attention becomes your currency of power. What you give it to becomes your life. The irony is that AI will do what it was designed to do: manage the world, predict your needs, keep you productive. But as it takes more and more of life's tasks, it will leave behind a strange hollow, like a stage perfectly set, but no one left to perform. And that's when you'll feel it, the quiet ache of not being needed, of not being essential. You'll crave the feeling of making something by hand, not because it's faster, but because it's real, tangible, imperfect. You'll chop wood because you can, not because you need to, but because doing something with your body makes you feel alive. You'll milk goats, or knead dough, or fix fences, not out of nostalgia, but because these acts tether you to something honest, something now. What AI can't replicate is what you were always meant to protect. The messiness, the slowness, the flawed, quiet, breath-heavy life that demands your full attention. You'll trade convenience for connection. You'll stop outsourcing your soul. Soren Kierkegaard said, "The most common form of despair is not being who you are." That's the despair you've been breathing for years now, waking up in a life that runs faster than your heart can follow, surrounded by technology that can do everything except make you feel like yourself. But in the countryside, under open skies, there's no confusion about who you are. You're not a brand, you're not a profile, you're not an asset, you're a human being, and the earth will remind you of that. Every sunrise will reset your nervous system. Every harvest will rewrite your understanding of time. Every evening spent staring into the stars will quietly reconstruct your soul. And the beauty is, you won't need to explain it. You'll stop justifying slowness. You'll stop apologizing for simplicity. You won't crave the next big thing. You'll crave stillness, warmth, familiar eyes, the smell of wood smoke in the cold air. That will be your new rhythm, or maybe your old rhythm resurrected. In that world, success won't look like a blue check mark or viral video. It'll look like a healthy tree you planted 5 years ago, a neighbor you help without a second thought, a child who knows how to make fire without Google. And all of this will feel new at first, drastic, maybe even uncomfortable. But slowly, as your nervous system recalibrates, as your thoughts grow quieter and more present, you'll recognize something shocking. You weren't made for chaos. You were made for rhythm, cycles, seasons. You were made to walk at the pace of a conversation, not a processor. And when you sit down to eat something you grew, you'll feel it in your chest, the moment returning to you. Not a simulation, not a copy, a moment that you lived into fully. You won't miss the speed, you won't miss the alerts, you won't miss the constant performance, because you'll have replaced stimulation with meaning. You'll have traded attention for intention. You'll have remembered what it feels like to live in your own skin, in a place that knows your name, where time doesn't chase you, but cradles you. In the end, AI will not destroy humanity, it will simply leave it behind. And in that absence, you will remember who you were before the world told you who you should be. You'll remember that life is not data. It's dirt under fingernails, it's sweat, it's silence. It's doing one thing slowly with care and calling that a good day. You will rediscover wonder, not through augmented reality, but through actual reality. The one with cracks and weeds and long pauses, the one that smells like rain, the one that forgives you for not being perfect. Because no algorithm will ever hold your grief the way a hand can. No machine will ever watch a sunrise the way your eyes do when they finally have time to rest. And no artificial intelligence will ever ask the question that has haunted you since the beginning: why am I here? You are here to live, not to optimize, not to react, not to perform, to live deeply, quietly, honestly. And you will. Because when everything is too fast, the greatest rebellion is to slow down. When everything is artificial, the bravest act is to be real. And when everyone is lost in their screens, the most radical move is to look up. And when you finally do, you'll see the sky hasn't changed. It was always waiting.